Hello everyone, we're going to do a little short tutorial here on how to build the payment function in Excel, which is what you're doing in Project 4. I'm actually going to do two videos, one on the payment function and then I'll come back and do one on the data table, which are both going to be on the second exam, so you need to make sure you know how to do these. Let me share my screen with you. And here's what I have. I have just kind of the bare bones of what you're doing in Project 4. And you'll see I have the date function set up, or the now function set up, which was what we did on exam 1. It's just equals now, open close parentheses. Nothing special here. They're telling us in the book it's going to be a house that we're buying, that we're going to pay $429,000 for it. We want to put $85,000 down. And so normally what you would do is you would go equals D5 minus D6, and you would see that you need to borrow $344,000. Well, in this chapter, they want us to do range names. So here's what you're going to need to do. If you select C3 through D7 in this example, and go to formulas and create from selection, you can tell it to pull the names just from the left column of the selection and apply them to the range names in column D. So tell it left column, hit OK, and then as you click on each of these, you see how date's now called date, and this is called item, this is called the price, this is called down payment. So that when you get to D7, you can do a formula that has words that says equals price minus down payment instead of having to use references. So I'm going to put in equals. I'm going to click this one. You could type it or click it, it doesn't matter. And you see how it puts in equals price minus, and I can't get to the next cell, so I'm just going to start typing DOWN, and you see how it shows me that I have that name. So just double click it, hit enter, it'll put in your answer. Well, if you look up here, you can see it equals price minus down payment. So they're trying to get you to do word formulas. They want you to do the same thing over here. So just select from E3 through F7. Go to create from selection. Tell it you're pulling the names from the left column. Hit OK. And if you look right here, this is now called rate. You can call it F3 or you can call it rate in your formula. This one's called term. So again, you can call it F4 or you can call it term in your formula. Well, they want us to build a payment function. And I could start out with, like we've done all our other formulas, equals, and then start typing PMT. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to click the FX button right here. And you can always go to all. This is a financial function, so you can go to financial. But what I'm looking for is PMT. PMT. All right, when it comes up, it says, well, what is your rate of interest you're going to pay? Well, here it is. But the rate of interest you're going to pay is not an annual rate. When we start calculating this, we need it monthly. Monthly rate, we pay a monthly payment for our house or for our car. So just take and divide it by 12. So whatever the rate is, in this case, it's going to be the word rate, put slash, / divided by 12. And it says, well, what's the NPR? What's the number of payments that you're going to make on this loan? Well, this one is 15 years, and so 15 times 12 payments a year is saying you're going to make 180 payments. And then the PV stands for present value. What's the amount you're going to borrow? Well, that's right here in D7. You don't have to put the future value or the type here. You see these three in bold, that's required. And so right here, you'll see that that's what your payment is going to be each month, $2,566. So hit OK. When it comes up, you'll notice it's in red, and that's because payments are a negative thing. So here's all you have to do to turn that around so it doesn't show up in red. If you'll come up here in front of the equal sign, or behind the equal sign, and put in a minus. So you're doing the opposite. A negative times a positive would be a negative times a negative would be a positive. So we're putting in basically a -1 in there. So all I did was I put a minus right here in front of the PMT and hit enter, and it'll change it to a positive number. So you can use it in some of your other calculations and everything won't go negative. Okay, so they have a couple of other formulas for you to fill out here. And if you're trying to figure out the total interest, well, you know that you're paying so much back every month. So here's one way you could do it. Equals, well, I'm paying back this amount every month times 15 years times 12 payments, right? So if I'm looking at that, that's how much I'm totally paying back. But I'm paying $344,000 in principal. So if I took this formula and put parentheses around it and subtract out the amount that went to principal, then I should be able to get the amount that went toward interest. Okay. Then if they want to know the total cost, well, I know I'm going to pay $85,000 down payment, right? I'm going to pay $344,000 in principal that I borrowed, and I'm going to type in F6 here because I can't get to it. I'm going to have to pay my interest. So if you put all that together, your house that started out at $429,000 actually is going to cost you over 15 years, $546,903. They'll give you these formulas and how to put them in. That's not what I'm really trying to teach you in this section. What I'm really trying to teach you in this section is how to build this payment formula. So make sure you can build the payment formula. You're definitely going to need it when you get to exam 2.